When a D.C. resident wants a legal handgun, they usually go to a gun store in Virginia or Maryland or somewhere online. They pay for it before shipping it to a licensed dealer here in D.C. And that D.C. dealer does the federal background check, looking for convictions or other disqualifications. And for a time, D.C. police was the only dealer in town, and that is raising newly uncovered concerns. There are only 2 people in the entire district who can help you get a legal handgun in D.C., and Sean Poland is one of them.
I wonder if that needs to be modified.
Poland opened D.C. Security Associates in 2021, one of 2 federal firearms licensees in D.C.
We believe in responsible ownership.
At a time when D.C. had only one other gun dealer, the Metropolitan Police Department. According to everyone we talked to and federal records we've combed through, D.C. was then and is still now the only police department anywhere in America to sell guns to the public. The only one. And we've got the records to show how it happened. Fearing Second Amendment scrutiny, D.C. Council passed a law in 2012 allowing the city to deal guns if no private business would do it. And that was the case in the spring of 2020 when Mayor Bowser ordered D.C. police to do it. In April 2020, D.C. police started operating as both the dealer and enforcer of gun laws in the district. Police departments are not supposed to be firearms dealers, are they?
No, heck no. That was my biggest point there. If your firearms branch screws up, you're going to inspect and enforce your own firearms branch?
Months later, Poland remembers, D.C. police couldn't wait to get out of the gun business.
They asked us to open early by 4 weeks.
Why?
They were getting sick and tired of managing all those firearms they had down there. They had thousands of firearms waiting to be processed.
D.C. police wouldn't talk to us about Poland's claim, but we do know now where some of those guns ended up. After a gun is found at a crime scene, the ATF traces it all the way back to the original sale with dealers like Poland, and then follows the trail to see who else may have bought the gun before it was used in a crime. Detectives use the traces to develop suspects. The ATF cracks down on dealers who sell a higher number of guns eventually recovered at crime scenes, forcing them to report more information and participate in what the ATF calls its Demand Letter 2 program. The agency put D.C. police in it after tracking dozens of guns from crime scenes in 2021 alone to MPD gun dealing.
We are not anti-gun dealer at Brady. We are anti-irresponsible gun dealing.
The group Brady United Against Gun Violence recently released hundreds of documents related to the program and found it's really rare to be put in it. But we found 14 dealers in the D.C. area, including Poland's and another who currently operate in D.C., and MPD was on the list too.
It was a little bit surprising to see the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department receive a demand letter.
But not to Poland.
No, does not surprise one bit.
Who says he warned police he didn't think their gun selling practices were tight enough.
I walked in there and it was archaic. The processes, the systems they were using to manage that process was archaic. I had offered advice, had offered little suggestions.
D.C. police wouldn't tell the I-Team if it took his advice or answer any questions on camera. A spokesperson only telling us, MPD has never sold guns. MPD was required to operate as an FFL to uphold a constitutional right in the district. During that period, the department facilitated the legal transfer of 8,038 firearms.
Gun dealers are gatekeepers. That's their mandate under the federal law. They have that responsibility and that obligation to make sure that every sale is a safe sale.
But there's another concern the I-Team found, what's called time to crime. The ATF explains, on average, a gun found at a crime scene is 10 years past its first sale. Shorter times, the agency tells us, deserve more scrutiny. And in D.C. Police's case, the time to crime was around 20 months, less than 2 years. Scharf says, even though D.C. Police no longer operate as an FFL, the department should want to know why their time to crime was so much shorter, and be able to tell D.C. families if their loved one was shot with a gun they helped bring into the district.
MPD is ultimately responsible for the public safety of the residents of Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. Everything that they do should have an eye towards protecting the public safety.
A short time before D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser told D.C. police to get into the gun business, she was criticizing lawmakers in Virginia for not overseeing Commonwealth dealers strictly enough. We found the letter she sent Virginia legislative leaders in 2020, January of that year, urging them to do more to keep guns legally sold in Virginia from being used in crimes. Illegal guns originating in Virginia are a key driver of gun crime in D.C., she wrote. 4 months later, she signed that mayor's order authorizing D.C.'s police department to become a federal firearms licensee themselves. And those ATF records show clearly D.C. police sold guns that were eventually used in crime, too. We reached out to the mayor's office, Leon Nunn, but didn't get a response. A spokesperson for D.C. police did tell us once it stopped being a gun dealer, the department complied with the requirements and sent all their records back to the ATF.